agencies, including NIH? If confirmed, will you commit to funding research and development at levels authorized by Congress?
I'll have to coordinate with the president and with OMB, obviously, on budgets, but my commitment is to bring to the table and bring to those conversations the importance of research and development in these emerging technologies.
Right, and do you agree that domestic semiconductor production should continue to be a priority for the U.S.?
Absolutely. We have to be able to produce high-end chips here in the U.S.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Metter, I work closely with you, with my staff I know did on antitrust and competition issues during your time in Senator Lee's office. And I hope if confirmed, you'll continue to work in a bipartisan manner as you did there. Today, the commission is litigating antitrust cases against Meta, Amazon, John Deere, pesticide manufacturer, medical provider, many others. Will you commit to continuing to prosecute the antitrust cases currently at the commission and to pursue remedies that will protect consumers from anti-competitive conduct?
Thank you, Senator. It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
So while I can't commit to any specific action, obviously I share the concerns that the agency is seeking to address. I think it has a lot of important work on its docket, and I can commit to taking that very seriously if confirmed to ensure we're doing everything we can to enforce the law.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You've written that it's long past time for our government to finish what they've started, break up Live Nation Ticketmaster, and bring real competition back to the live event ecosystem. While you worked for Senator Lee, I teamed up with him, as you know, to hold a rather memorable hearing. Senator Cruz was there in judiciary on Ticketmaster Live Nation, monopoly over venues, artist promotion, online ticketing. While the Justice Department, I know you're aware of this, is litigating that case, can you elaborate why it is so important to take on monopolies like Live Nation Ticketmaster, and how will that experience help you at the FTC?
Absolutely. So in that case, we have an industry that has many parts and sort of a vertical chain. And what we've seen is that combining all of them into one firm has allowed them to engage in what's called foreclosure in many instances. So when one company controls both the primary ticketing service that artists use and venues use, as well as the actual venues themselves, it gives them the ability to lock up the entire industry, which ultimately raises prices for consumers, reduces the quality of their experience at these events, deprives artists of the money that they would have otherwise earned, and it just leads to a worse ecosystem overall. And so if confirmed to this position, I would take those concerns from that industry and be on the lookout for similar situations in other industries to make sure that if one firm is seeking to dominate an entire industry, it's not doing so to the detriment of consumers.
Okay, very good. FTC independence, I know that Senator Lujan asked you some questions along this lines, but do you agree that the sole focus of the FTC should be to protect consumers from unfair methods of competition and deceptive practices, which is clearly in their act setting them up, without concern for political pressures from the White House?
Yes, with the one caveat that we have about 80 statutes we enforce total, and so
that's what I thought. I actually, as I asked the question, I thought that might be a very smart answer on your behalf. As you know, I work with Senator Grassley to update corporate merger fees for the first time in 20 years, to give our antitrust agencies more resources to hire attorneys and economists. In the end, Senator Lee and I coordinated on his bill on the tech cases, allowing the state AGs to keep them in their jurisdictions, which was a Lee Klobuchar bill, thank you, as well as this bill that I had with Grassley, both passed. Do you agree that to take on some of the biggest companies in the history of the world, that the FTC must be funded and staffed with the best people possible?
Yes, sir. I think it's obviously important for the FTC to have everything it needs, and I was honored to work with your office on that legislation and create the possibility of antitrust enforcement that's self-funded without burdening taxpayers.
Okay. How will you work with state AGs? There's a lot of action going on in the states right now to enforce antitrust and consumer protection laws.
I think that's one of the unique things about American antitrust that I really appreciate is the multiple levels of enforcement that we have, including private suits, federal suits, but also state AGs. And I know the FTC has a long history of working productively with state AGs, and if confirmed, I would look forward to continuing those relationships.
All right, thank you. I want to thank both of you for actually answering the questions and doing it in a short period of time and not filibustering. So that was actually miraculous.